Good morning. Welcome to ATI ProMedia. Tommy Grisafi coming to you live from Nashville. Well, after a few days of hosting Cow Guy Close, I don't know how to speak without a teleprompter. You know who else doesn't know how to speak without a teleprompter? We had a unique speech come out from our president last night saying everything's fine. I love those speeches. And I'll tell you, if I looked at the grain market and told you everything was fine, you would call BS. Let's go over the news what we have. Chinese New Year's coming up. That's point number one. Super Bowl of information is the name of the show because we had a lot of information come out. Brady Huck and I are going to talk about the snack foods that we consume during the Super Bowl. I'm having a bunch of people over for the Super Bowl, and I will be in plenty fine shape to do the broadcast on Monday. Real quick, we have room for comments, kind of a light news day, but we have an action-packed show with charts and graphs and talking a little bit about food. Going to break down what happened yesterday. Um, if you want to ask a question, go over to comments. Please be polite. We have some fan favorites, of course, Luke with Cotton and everything else. But welcome, friends from Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube, of course, which we're streaming live. We really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, like, hit notifications. It really helps get our sign out there. Okay, with that, Mr. Brady Huck, I have a few more things to say, but I think I got all that out. Come on in, Brady. A couple other things on my headlines. I'm telling you, I don't know how to work without a teleprompter anymore. S&P 500 hit 5,000. Crude oil has been extremely firm. I have the markets in front of me. I'm going to go over them. Front month corn up 3, D's up 1, soybeans down a few. Wheat coming back from the dead. It had a bad day yesterday. Board of Trade up 15, Casey up 10, Minneapolis up 7. Cattle about unchanged. They were up earlier. They're probably not liking the strength in the grains. Gold, silver, interest rates, everything else pretty quiet. S&P 500 at 5,000. Crude oil firm. Mr. Brady Huck, we have a unique show today, and let's get into it.
It's a great day. Yeah. Happy Friday. Grains are going everywhere and nowhere at the same time, right? We're down 15 on wheat yesterday and up 8, 6, 10 today.
Yeah, and I think if you're short, which there's a lot of shorts out there, all in the money, right? So every single futures, unless it was sold at yesterday's low, is pretty much in the money. It has to be, right? So if
You
we're at 3-year lows, the math can be no other way, right? That's why when PJ, our options experts, texting us saying 90% of the corn calls are not in the money right now, because people typically buy calls above the market, and we're so far below it. One interesting thing. Let's talk politics real quick.
okay.
I was sitting here in Nashville, had a good day. Some days go better than others in TV. I was proud of the work I did
You did
yesterday.
great yesterday.
Thank you. It's not easy, but it's it's a process. It's a process. So I had great guests too, and I have the people who helped me at RFD TV, the gal talking in my ear. There's a lot of things that happen to make a show, as you know, as we do this. But I went to the hotel, and the internet blew up. Tucker Carlson interview. So I was getting ready to go out with a friend, our friend Chris Swift. Chris Swift from Swift Trading down here in Nashville. Anyway, he
Did
said
you
he's yes, sir.
go ahead? Did you catch that Tucker Carlson interview? Did
Well,
you watch
I
it yet?
listened to a half hour of it, and this is the wildest thing. Tucker Carlson goes, I asked President Putin a question, and he then spoke for a half hour.
What'd he say? I'm going to give you want to know the history for 30 seconds, minute
Yeah,
here?
yeah,
And he pulled a
that's what he did.
classic Tommy G and talks for 30 minutes
Putin
there.
pulled a Tommy G. He talked for a half hour straight. I'm not exaggerating.
No,
If you don't get anything else out of that interview, he goes, let me just give you 1 minute to explain. A
30
half
minutes later.
hour later. Yeah, it is wild. But I learned a lot. It was a massive history lesson. And he gave Tucker Carlson this book. That's all I got through it. So it's 2 hours long. I don't want to skew anyone's political opinion. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know who's telling the truth. I know we're telling the truth. Corn's up 3, right? That's as truthful as I can get.
What we
Speaking
know.
of Super Bowl of information, I think the markets are digesting the numbers well from yesterday. What do you think?
I mean, on to the next thing. I think watching South America weather. The most bullish thing for corn is how bearish everything is, in my opinion. It's
Yeah,
doom and
there's
gloom
no
around.
secrets, right? There's no
Yeah,
secrets like, hey, there's a lot of corn, there's a lot of beans, there's a lot of wheat. All right, we know that. What
yeah,
comes next, right?
exactly.
And I'll tell you what comes next. We have crop insurance and stuff like that. What do you want to do first? You want to do charts or you
Let's
want to go through our PowerPoint?
let's dive into a few indexes here, Tommy. I'm going to
Okay.
throw this up. We got some. Nate Mangold shared this great article previewing the weekend. big weekend for game day grub and snacks, rivaling Thanksgiving for the calories we consume and what we spend at the grocery store. Tortilla chips, top 20 on the game day grub list. Another chart here. We talked about the Krispy Kreme index, and Connor is working on patenting that and getting that released for everybody so they can trade it. We got the tortilla chip index, and we can see some peaks here. I'd love to throw an RSI or some stochastics on this, maybe some Bollinger Bands, and see where we're at. But tortilla chips, you see a big rally going into Super Bowl weekend. Fun
Hmm.
chart. Yeah, though.
Look at a year ago how they spiked. That thing looks like a cocoa chart a year ago. Speaking of cocoa, that's had a wild run too. We don't have a chart, but Coco's went cuckoo for cocoa. Yeah, stay away from that one. I've never traded a cocoa contract in my life ever. Of all the
Really.
futures and options I've traded an orange juice, a sugar. I've never traded cocoa, and I'm okay with that. Like that, that's fine. We're gonna skip the
That's
cocoa.
yeah.
What's
Now,
going
now,
on here
now
with
we
the
got to
chips?
decide if we're a scoop guy, a traditional triangle guy. If you like the tortilla strips, scoops seem to be the most popular chip shape here going into the weekend. But
I'm a scoops guy, but I get pissed when you open the bag and half the scoops are broke. So I'm a half a scoop guy.
half a
Um,
scoop.
Good news for farmers. This is mostly corn, correct? I mean, these
Yeah.
are, yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
well, good. What else do we have?
Well, let's talk some a little more
Now we're getting
serious
to the
stuff.
serious stuff.
Yeah, we've got crop insurance getting set here, and it's never fun when we're making new lows going into a crop insurance set period on the front end. On the back end, it's maybe a little bit better for you, but on the front end, we got 476 as the price as of now for the first 8 days, I guess, that we've had to price this insurance on corn. And then on the bean side, we're looking at 1174 on beans so far. Got a long ways to go here, a couple more weeks. Maybe we'll get a bid and push those prices up higher.
Yeah, every day that goes by, though, I'm going to make a bold statement and say if you're doing math, if you're doing spreadsheets, if you're doing cost production, just put in 1175 as your price in beans and 480 is your price in corn. That gives you a little room to rally in corn. That keeps beans right here. I mean, whether it's 1175, 1180, it's not $14, right?
Right.
And once we get about halfway through this crop insurance period and every day stays about the same, it even if we went up 10 cents, the average might only go up a penny. So about well, by 2 weeks through, we're close to having it. By three, forget about it. With this low volatility, we'll have it. Do we have any other charts or graphs, Mr. Brady Huck?
I think that's all I got here built into the
Okay.
PowerPoint.
Yeah. Oh, we have a birthday at the office. Mr. Dave Fogel. Dave was the one I met to come to advanced trading. Who the hell put a walker in front of Dave's desk? That's just
I
cruel.
don't know that he
Uh,
uses that every day, but
yeah,
good addition. Then.
and just for color, he's 16 years younger than our president. So we have that going for us. Yeah, Dave's a big part of the team here. Of course, he's hired and mentored so many of us. I think I think this year is Dave Fogel's 40th anniversary at Advanced Trading, and that's
He-
a long time. You know, he's
He's had a
a
long tenure here. Yeah.
well, he's seen a lot of markets, right? And so I
Mhm.
don't always agree with what Dave Fogel says, but I tell him I don't always like what you say, but 99% of the time you're right, and you got to respect that because there's something he's seen a lot of people do a lot of things wrong. Dave knows a lot of things that don't work. And then
Mhm.
he can suggest to us or customers what does work. But he's seen the industry do so many stupid things. I'll tell you Dave Fogel's story. He once had to go testify in front of the CFTC during the Great Debacle when they hedged multiple crops. I think it was called the hedge to arrive debacle,
Okay. Yep.
and where people sold multiple crop years in the front year, and then the market exploded, and then farmers wouldn't deliver. I mean, there were farmers who had sold grain to the elevator that their cousin owned, and they didn't deliver it because the grain was, they were going to have priced it at 225, 250, and it was $5 corn. So,
But it
uh,
just made sense, right? It was a no brainer at the time,
right, and
right?
which kind of ties really well into what we're dealing with right now. Prices are so low that it looks like they can't go up. And I did one of our segments, the on Cow Guy Close yesterday, the B roll, you have a segment, a B segment, C segment. We had Scott Bauer on, and we
Mhm.
talked about why it's so dangerous to sell volatility when volatility's low. And I'll once RFD TV gets set up, Scott Bauer from Bauer Trading did
That
a
was a
great
great
job.
segment.
Were you able to
Yeah.
watch that?
I
Yeah.
I love it was one of my favorite you did the that one and then the last one you did were two of my
Oh,
favorites
Dr.
that you did
Carroll.
yesterday. Yep.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
volatility talking about but in this environment, to your point, capturing an additional 10, 15, 20 cents is so attractive right now. And it's it's just easy to bait guys into doing that, and you kind of paint yourself in a marketing corner for the next year or just a time frame. I just don't know that it's worth it. It was a
You could
great
be
comment.
tripping over dollars to pick up a dime on the railroad tracks, and yeah, the
Yeah.
train you see might be, might run you over. And yeah, we have to get mentally set that yes, prices are lower for multiple years, but prices still can move. And there's a lot of money out there, Brady. It's not like you talk about that HTA debacle in 95,
Mhm.
96, 97. Uh, I would love to know what the Dow Jones was. Joe, if you could look it up, pop it up. Someone Google what the Dow Jones was in 1995 and then look at what it is now. I mean, I bet you I'm going to throw out a number. If we were 4 or 5,000 Dow Jones. I'm just seeing Joe's Googling it right now. Okay, I
Mhm.
got a couple charts. Let's get into it while Joe finds that out. And I'm going to add this to stage. D's 24. We spent so much time, Brady, up here, and we broke out, right? You're either going to break out to the upside or downside. We broke out the downside.
Mhm.
Uh, this is about where we're going to stay until we break back up above here. And everyone's hoping and praying we don't go lower. But the risk is, and I talked about with Scott Bauer, the risk is still we go down. Or I talked about day before with Carly Garner from Garner Trading. I was like, "What do you think
Mhm.
of corn?" She's like, "Well, it should make a bottom." I go, my job is still to protect. Like we have another dollar of downside. If you buy crop
Yeah.
insurance at 80% and we're 475 corn, government's not protecting you till 375. Is my math correct? About? Oh, there it
Yes.
is. Look at Joe go. My brother
Joe's
Joe,
quick.
Joe G, popping up stuff. I said 5, 6,000. Not bad.
That
Just for
was close, Tommy. That was
yeah.
good. Right on the
Dow Jones in 1995 averaged 4,500. So there's
but
so much more money in the world, and there's so much more access to information. I mean, I can
mhm.
literally go right here on my iPhone and click any market in the world.
Well, to your
And
point there, Tommy, just to tie that back into corn, we look at this 280,000 net short that the funds have, and we seem to be expanding that record net short or the record net long each year. Don't think it's that we can't get shorter on that market, and like you said, those shorts that they have on, they're in the money. Um, and
yes, they are. Yes, they are. What happened to my little lines here? I thought I had some beautiful lines here. Maybe I didn't. There I do have my line. See, I'm
there
not
we
losing
go.
my mind. I don't need to do any press conferences telling you what I am or not. Okay, but I do need my trifocals to see these lines. Okay, so that support line's right at a little bit below 1150. We're 1170 in no beans. No beans are still struggling today, down two. Front month corn up three, but
So that's
yeah,
a weekly going back to the 21, 20
yeah,
time
yeah.
frame.
So we're going back to COVID levels there. Okay,
Mhm.
so we went through corn, went through beans. I want to pull up a cattle chart. I think I have one of those loaded up for you, Mr. Huck. Talk about this a little bit. This is your domain.
Yep, I think you got that line on there, or maybe at 190, and we've got a couple dollars above us here on April fat cattle to fill that gap at 190. We filled
Okay,
the gap on the June chart, but April still has not filled the gap yet.
190 would be about a little higher than that, right?
Yeah, we're
Oh, right there.
186
Okay.
right now, so we got $4 above us. But we're $21 off the low. Back in December, we traded down to 165 area, and we've rallied $21. $21 on a fat steer that's 1,400 pounds. That's a significant amount of dollars that they've regained back. So if you were regretting feeling feeling pretty rough in November, December, you've certainly in a better place than today on the
I'm gonna
fat
do
cattle
one
side
thing.
of
I
things.
feel like going long today, just because we got
Oh,
we got 50
Putin
people
here.
watching.
He's pulling a Putin.
No, no, no. I'm not going to talk over you. We're going to talk for a long time. I just want to show people the Dow Jones.
Okay.
It's just you got to see this thing over time. I mean, it's just a little engine that could. We're going all the way back to 21. And when Dave Fogel was talking about the HTAs, that's all the way back in 95, 96,
Yeah.
97. So we talk about the Dow Jones at 5,000. You need three more screens to your left. When we talk about there's a lot of money in here. And I got to tell you, when I left the hotel today at 7 o'clock to come over to RFD TV, I said, "What the heck are we going to talk about?" I said, "We'll talk about the Super Bowl, everything else." Looks like we have some questions. Let's get in the bonus round. I don't mind going long today. This is my favorite part of the show. This is like call this cow phone. Oh, by the way,
Free for
I
all
looked.
Friday.
I looked at the cow phone yesterday. Some
Yeah.
people say some really nice things, and some
So
people,
not
well, Tommy G isn't for everyone. But the ones who like me love me. The ones who don't, they ain't afraid to tell me either. All right, let's get in the questions. Read them off, my friend.
All right, Farmer Brett here. The consumer farmer is getting crushed with elevated expenses. If you don't own assets, you are getting left behind by the haves, and you are becoming a have-not. True
That is
point.
correct, sir. That is not a question. That is a statement. You are right. The answer to that is yes.
I
So
think
just
it
like in
makes.
America, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Brady.
Sorry, Tommy. Yep. To me, the young that makes it really difficult for the young farmer, Tommy, right? A
Hmm.
young farmer to get back into the business, and the average age of a farmer is what 60, 70 years old. Um,
Yeah. What I'd like to say about that is the rich are getting richer. Dow Jones at all-time high. Nashville was going off. I come home at 11 o'clock last night. It was crazy, and that was just a Thursday, right? The if you're rich, you're rich. If you're poor, you're poor. In farming, if you own 1,000 acres in Iowa, it's paid for. You're rich,
mhm.
or any state. Okay, if you're cash renting and you got a little excited and paid too much for cash rent, you better go have a meeting with your banker because you have a problem. And just like I found out in the trading industry, no one sends you an email before you have a problem. The smart, wise people can see the problem coming, but no one says, hey, farmer, here's your email to let you know in 18 months you will have no cash and have to sell assets. So, okay, let's go with Luke. Cotton is having a good run in the last couple of weeks, and front months are above 90 cents. Are the funds shifting their positions, those markets? Great question, Luke. We'll get fund length and stuff like that afterwards. And yeah, love questions from Luke. Let's go long. Keep them going, Joe. What do we got for questions, comments?
Tony Dunker, look out chocolate bars in the grocery store, and don't forget your Valentine next week. Good point,
Oh,
Tony.
Tony, chocolate, cocoa's going nuts. And a friend of mine posted on the internet that, like, I don't think they have limits today on some of the months. So I don't know where cocoa's trading, but a client today asked, can I sell a cocoa? I said, sure, just not in your account with me. I don't want to do that. We're corn, beans, wheat, cattle. Let's stick to risk management and go from there. Any more questions or comments from the peanut gallery?
Uh,
Oh, there's Caesar Delgado. Good morning to Tommy G. Caesar interviewed uh, Mr. Connor Bridgman. You remember him? He used to do
I
the morning
do,
show
yeah.
with us.
Backroads of Illinois
Yeah, yeah,
podcast. Is that?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's Caesar's going to interview Brian Bastine. He also wanted to interview you, and he goes through the industry, does great interviews. I gave him your stuff. Yeah, big shout out to Caesar. Any other questions or comments, or can we hear from Gina G? Hey,
I think that's all we got
let's
over
tell
there.
people how
So,
to get a hold of us, Brady. We got some really cool stuff coming here in the next few weeks, and yeah, run through this real quick.
yep. Well, we are available every day here live at 9 on YouTube. We're going to be pumping out more premium content as we go forward here. So if you are interested in receiving that premium content, it goes to our customers. But if you're interested, send us an email at info@atipromedia.com or give us a call at 1-855-737-FARM. That goes directly to the Grasafis, right?
That sounds good. Yeah, I'm pulling for T Swift in Kansas City, buddy. What do you got going?
Well, I got a lot of Chiefs fans around me, so I'm probably going to have to either root for the Chiefs or be quiet.
This sounds good. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Brady.
See you, Tommy.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.